Your Excellency, the Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this morning we're joined by a major sponsor, Olam. They are commercial partners, and they have a short presentation to make prior to the keynote address of the Vice President of the Republic. It's my pleasure to invite the Senior Vice President and Country Manager, Olam International, Mr. Amit Agrawal.
Good morning. His Excellency, the Vice President, fellow CEOs, ladies and gentlemen. So this is not meant to be a sponsor message. Today was, since the summit is all about technology, I had volunteered that we will present a live business case on how technology can impact a business. And we had volunteered to showcase our cocoa business, which actually is one of the, in a way, an old world business, even today run largely in an old world manner. And we wanted to showcase how we have been able to use technology to grow in this particular sector, in the license buying business. So I'll just introduce quickly Olam and then get on to the short business case that I had wanted to highlight today. So Olam is a global multinational. Interestingly, it started in Nigeria as the first country. Ghana was the second country in its growth. And today, of course, it's become a global multinational based out of Singapore. And it is a listed company in Singapore today. It's fairly large and a leader in most of the agro commodities. These are some of the interesting highlights around our size and scale. And Olam Ghana was founded here in Ghana in '94. We are celebrating our 25th year. And over the last 25 years, we have grown deep and wide in Ghana, today employing more than 1,000 people on our permanent roles and more than 2,000 people otherwise. Operating obviously out of the whole country, given our canvas in cocoa and cashew. The cocoa business, of course, brings in a huge sustainability footprint in the country, and we are fairly proud about the kind of developmental projects we are able to do with the farming communities, impacting their livelihoods. So the case I wanted to highlight today on behalf of Olam was the license buying business, which really is a licensed business through Cocoa Board, where we supply cocoa from the farm gate to the cocoa marketing company. And the way it is structured, it has to be operated within each district and requiring us to then operate through a very large number of stakeholders, the purchasing clerks. Today we deal with more than 3,500 counterparties. And that is where the technology part comes in eventually. So this is to highlight how our business has gone. It really has gone, we tried to grow at a certain point. We could not, we suffered. And then we realized that we were trying to scale up without the adequate technology to really back our growth plans. So last 3 years, as we brought in modern technology into our business, is when we see we have today been able to scale up dramatically. Today now becoming almost one of the largest LBCs in this space. So last year we did 140,000 tons of cocoa. So, and today obviously we run a completely digital direct to stakeholder business. I will be showing a short clip around that on what exactly we have done and how that has impacted our business eventually. So these were some of the key digital initiatives we embarked on in the last 3 years, and that is what really has brought in a dramatic change in the way we operate and the kind of outcomes we can get. It's an interesting case of a live business in Ghana where modern technology can come in. So today we deal with 3,500 counterparties sending advances directly to their bank accounts. We deal with 120,000 farmers directly, operating with them. And we use mobile money for various other initiatives as we deal with our stakeholders. And the most important part of what we have done is we have managed to bring in all our documentation and dealings on a mobile platform where our tab on the field interfaces directly with our backend, which is on SAP, and allows us to run the business almost on a daily online basis. And most importantly, we run a completely cashless business, which again has been key to our growth, where we now have our employees protected from handling cash, and equally, a lot of control issues we have been able to manage, and equally our purchasing clerks like the fact that we deal with them directly through their bank accounts. So what I'll do is, all of these slides eventually are highlighted well through a short clip. It's about a 4-minute clip. We'd like to show you the film. So this was really meant to show how technology came into our business and helped us grow. And that eventually remains our way forward, how to take it deeper into the business. Thank you so much. That was the whole effort to highlight technology into our business. Thank you.
Many thanks to you, Mr. Amit Agrawal, Senior Vice President and Country Manager, Olam International. And now, Your Excellency, Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please welcome for the last and final keynote prior to the Vice President's keynote, a Vice President of the Southern, East and West Africa of the MTN Group. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ebenezer Chum Asante.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoudou Bawumia, dignitaries present, CEOs, executives, leaders, both in private and public sector, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by commending the organizer, Ernest and his team, for putting together such a conference which seeks to engage CEOs and leaders on critical factors that drives economic transformation. Mr. Vice President, if I have my own way, I will call you the digital Vice President, because most of the use cases that I will be sharing are cases that are also pioneered directly from your office. The topic for this year's summit is very significant: a futuristic economy, technology-driven future of business and governance for economic transformation. Just to set the context, the following will be the scope I have chosen for this mega theme. I define futuristic economy as basically creating a technology and innovation-led economy which eventually creates a better life for all. For technology, I took a narrow view of information communication technology, ICT, in general, and in particular, I also look at the futuristic economy as a supporter of the fourth industrial revolution. So I'll also be making references to mobile telecommunications in particular, because that is the area I am very familiar with. I will not dwell on the limitless possibilities of technology and the many amazing things we see technology do, nor go into some of the near miracle exploits future technologies portend. My reason for just narrowing the scope is very simple. Looking at the stage of our development, if we look at technology, for me, it is just getting the basics right. So my focus will mainly be around how do we get the basics right so that all the other futuristic things can stand on. Looking at the mobile technology, we are all aware that until the 90s, we lived in the era of yam and timber phones. In the early 2000s, around 2009, we migrated from basic voice to 3G technology. And in this era, we are looking at the smartness, whether it's phones or devices. We are all witnesses to how rapid the technological impact on life, living, business, and governance have been. I will therefore touch on three key opportunities that the futuristic economy presents. The theme seems appropriate, and in particular, those of us in Africa must pay attention to for the following reasons. The first reason why we should pay attention to this theme is because mobile technology is fully democratized, and there are more phones and mobile devices than people in Ghana and elsewhere. Smartphones are becoming more popular and will dominate in the next 3 to 5 years as the cost goes down to below $20 per phone. With the above, we are entering into a phase where right here in Ghana, we will have virtually one man, one woman, and almost everyone having a mini computer due to the computing power of smartphones. Internet and broadband use are also getting democratized, with over a third of the population using internet, whether in urban or rural areas. In the not too distant future, broadband for all will be a reality. The Ministry of Communication, GIFEC, and NCA, working with the telcos, are expanding network coverage into rural areas and taking broadband even into secondary schools. Digital payments will become the order of the day, and today, when you look at the media landscape, no wonder about 7 out of 10 adverts from banks are more around digital payments and app adoption. We will move from cash is king to Momo is sovereign. Futuristic economy building blocks seems to be underway. National ID system, mandatory digital address system, mandatory TIN as a sine qua non will be part of the future reality. With above, we can add more sophisticated options like facial recognition, human rights interest permitting. For those of us in the telecommunications industry, and indeed looking at the impact across all sectors, it is fair to say that futuristic economy is not very far from us. Some may even argue that we are already in that era. Our lives, society, work, and items are all connected digitally. They are becoming technology-driven, and at the same time, we anticipate an economy that will be totally digital-driven because of the speed and dynamism of technology. The case for technology in driving efficiency, building business scale for growth, and transforming processes and organizations have been amply made over years, and I do not believe that I can add much to that case. We can now visit the three technology opportunities that I label: first, technology within, technology beyond, and because we are looking at the economy building force behind technology, we can also look at nation-state service delivery through technology. Let's look at my first case, technology within. This is basically how technology is employed at the enterprise level for speed, service precision, high-volume transaction processing. This can include good old process automation, and in our instance in Ghana, reliance on mobile technology. The essence here is employing technology for reducing the transaction unit cost and optimizing manpower and other resource deployment, whilst increasing service speed and experience to customers. Any internal process that is repetitive, information-based, or data-driven may lend itself to such technology dividend. The question is, how do we harness technology internally to drive efficiency, speed, and enhance customer experience, modernize operating models, and even more interesting, support organizational culture and productivity. Yes, technology and culture can live together, and it can play very reinforcing support to drive organizational culture. The second case I want to share with you is technology beyond. Here, we are looking at how we use technology to inform, to support, drive, and even transform, if you like that word, to transform business models. And when I talk about business model, I'm just looking at the very art and science of how we make money. Here, let me narrow the scope to the use of digital to modernize supply chains and logistics management, to sell or distribute, to communicate, to receive and respond to complaints, to collect business intelligence, which can be processed into analytics that help to serve existing needs better and innovate future products and services. The opportunity in this space will be how we are using emerging e-commerce business to extend business reach. We are aware of Jumia, and at the local level, we have the likes of Tonaton, Yatiso, etc. How do we employ low-cost but more targeted means of reaching customers, social media, mobile advertising, and what have you? What about location-based digital services? And ladies and gentlemen, talking about the opportunities all of us as business people can take advantage of, I think the list will be non-exhaustive. The opportunity case 3, nation-state service delivery through technology. There are many use cases on how deliberate deployment of technology backed by leadership vision will not only bring governments and their citizens closer and create an active feedback loop for good governance, but also enable governments to deliver efficient service to their citizens. Take popular services like passports, driver's license, birth certificates, various permits, including the notorious land title and trade licenses, the difficulties that we all have in acquiring. Just this morning on radio, I heard the fact that the Vice President is promising Ghana Health Service will very soon go digital. Also look at the potential revenue sources like mobile tax payments for about 1 million traders in this country, the property rates, trade levies, road tolls, police spot fines, and many other revenue-driving initiatives that technology can help to transform. Such transactions in my company are called volume journeys, high volume journeys, because they impact on many people and they are frequently experienced. Simple mobile technology can do the trick in releasing the much needed revenue to government while saving citizens from the long queues, long delivery cycles, guru boys and connection girls, which are all unhealthy phenomenon we as business people have to go through. To this end, the initiative championed by government to transition all government payments to digital platforms should be applauded and supported by all. Let's simply make it happen. It will make a world of difference to government revenue mobilization and service delivery to citizens and businesses. The power of informal sector mobilization is immobile. After all, that's where our customers live, that's where the citizens transact, and that's where they play. All these are possible with one single silver bullet, if I may be bold. And that single silver bullet, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, is a credible national identification database. A national identification database that has biometrics, TIN compliance regime, and enforcement of digital address system. We require that discipline to make it work. Basic data for policy, legal, security enforcement, tax compliance, and general economic planning are equally important. When we have these basics in place, all we require is a Ghana service portal or an app, or what I call Citizen Ghana website, where you can get access to all central and local government services on the go. For example, if you want to acquire a passport, all you need to do is to visit the Citizen Ghana website or app, provide basic data that will be authenticated with your national ID, effect payment online directly through mobile money or bank transfer. You receive an online ticket or token that will be generated as reference for you, and a date for you to appear in person in case more data, biometrics, and other verification may be required. When it is ready, it is just delivered to you through your digital address system. This should be the future and the vision that we should aspire to as Ghanaians. And if this is possible, why can we not get our passports, our driver's license within 4 days of processing? The benefits of such a system to business are enormous. It will free us time to focus on our core business mandate and remove needless, hidden, and nominal costs of doing business. And beyond that, there are also real PPP business opportunities in the entire value chain of such transformation that we can take opportunity for. The panel discussion talked about technology taking away jobs, but technology can also contribute jobs. And this case that I'm presenting tells you there are numerous job opportunities also within the value chain, even in the government sector. Benefits to government go beyond minimizing corruption, generating revenue, and also driving faster economic transformation with its multiplier effect and impact on GDP growth. To embrace such pervasive ICT digital adoption across all streams of government services, we must work to reduce the cost of technology deployment by government. It is way too high. Good technologies really should not be too expensive, and their marginal cost for additional deployments or enhancements should be lower. Efficient private sector deployments can be a good benchmark for government to save significant cost. The case for technology adoption, whether at firm or state or individual level, beyond efficiency and scale potential, is the fact that consumers and citizens alike spend more time on technology platforms, taking advantage of the benefit it delivers and serving their instantaneous needs. Future direction of technology, therefore, informs how we engage customers and citizens around their changing needs and interests and tap new frontiers for technology that technology opens. The futuristic economy will open more opportunities and operate in a business with the type that will take technology for granted. In the future, the difference between one good competition and the other will not necessarily depend on information that you have, because information will be symmetry. We will take it for granted and it will come by default. The difference is how we take advantage of information today to create the lead start.
And Mr. Santi, as we do that, I'm mindful of the fact that the Vice President has a very busy schedule. He's hardly slept, and he sacrificed so much to be here. And so you have 1 minute remaining, as MTN will say.
Okay. Jerry, the Vice President has granted me the platform. So I have the platform. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Dynamic and real-time based analytics will reign. But to be ready for the future, the question will be what we are using today's customer data that comes to us by default of transactional relationships for. Are we set for online order taking and payments or outsourcing that will establish e-commerce businesses? How else would we get to know our customers when they are mainly interacting with us digitally? What is the place of social media, and how are we structured to make that platform very relevant? How are we using the available data and analytics on user interaction with our brands, products, and services? The analytics are available, and I'm sure we could source it directly or indirectly. Facebook, Twitter, Google, and many others have analytics that we can subscribe to. Does our business recognize and accept digital means of payments, or we still remain in the good old day, cash is king? In concluding, we have looked at futuristic economy and technology-driven business from three main opportunity cases: technology within, technology beyond, and technology for nation-state service delivery. To add to the worries of today's leaders is the peculiar challenge of the role of technology in business. While leadership has always been about inspiring and influencing people, an effective CEO today is about understanding and leveraging technology. Leaders must understand the rapidly changing technological context of modern business, their markets, customers, and how they can leverage on it for economic benefits. Leadership is key in building technological economies, but so is planning. So the point is that at the level of planning, leadership must agree on future of their businesses and the role technology plays in it. Considering the fact that ICT is a key driver for economic growth, we must make a firm decision to use it as an enabler in development. The levels of technology rollout, its absorption and utilization will be very important, not only for the future, but even the day that we have to begin the future with. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm sure the dialogue will continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, the Regional Vice President for Southern and Eastern Africa and Ghana, MTN Group, Mr. Ebenezer Chum Asante. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause. Thank you, sir, for that very warm and insightful keynote address. Your Excellency, the Vice President, ahead of your coming, we had two very insightful keynote addresses, just like the one rendered by Mr. Asante. The first from SAP Africa, who are our technology partners, and they also come in very handy as partners this year to give us the benefit of technology. They make you become an intelligent business or government through three capabilities. One, by giving visibility. The second, through focus and agility. Consequently, all this leads to being able to do more with less, empowering you to employ more and your employees delivering on their core competencies, delivering best-in-class customer experience, and building new revenue streams, as well as building new business models. Together, let's hear it up for all our partners and sponsors. And so we should have been live on Joy, but because of the midday news, they would have to do that for a while before the Vice President comes on board. In welcoming us officially and to welcome the Vice President to speak to us is the convener of this summit. It's my greatest joy to give to you, ladies and gentlemen, yours truly, Chief Ernest de Graft Ejiri.
Hello. Good afternoon to you all. Your Excellency, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency Ambassador Kwesi Korte, Deputy Chairman of the African Union Commission, Honorable Ministers, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished CEOs and business leaders present, our partners, esteemed sponsoring companies, media partners, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great anticipation that we look forward to host you to another edition of the Ghana CEO Summit. We gather here today in an atmosphere of learning, insight sharing, and above all, unearthing the most viable ways of making our economy work in the face of global trends in an atmosphere of cross-sectorial network. As we gather today and tomorrow to deliberate on lingering issues, profile solutions, engage in thought-provoking discussions, exchange ideas, experiences, and learn from leaders and other industry experts, the expectation of the CEO network is that we impact the larger circles of economic growth in Ghana and by extension the continent. There exist many avenues for talk and talk and talk on the private sector and the role of the government in enhancing the growth of the private sector and related matters. The CEO Network's annual CEO Summit seeks to challenge the government to create the enabling ecosystem to ensure a thriving private sector and a functioning public sector. The summit is committed to unlocking Ghana's economic potential by championing private sector-led growth, leading discussions around innovative public policies like we're doing today, and best growth-oriented business practices as the days ahead will show. This we seek to achieve through CEO platforms by engendering strong private-public sector dialogue towards a solution-oriented policy framework. Today, the world over, private sector invests goodwill in the states and in turn makes demand through the right levers, such as the Ghana CEO Summit for environments that cultivate the right business outcomes. The CEO Summit is no different. The relevance of platforms such as this have engineered economic directions in Asia, the Pacific, and the Americas, where outcomes of such summits have impacted governance, businesses, and indeed the quality of life of the citizenry. We seek through this platform to initiate and enhance existing transformation that seek to grow our economy. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2019 edition of the Ghana CEO Summit is honored to host some great resource persons to provide insights on leadership, innovation, and governance for our economic transformation. Issues that will be discussed here borders on the economy, doing business, corporate governance, indeed with emphasis on ethical governance with the happenings around us, technological innovation, and leadership. And we believe these are critical to the efforts of the country's private sector and those of state enterprises at a time new opportunities are evolving, not just out of the accelerating pace of economic growth, but as the birthing of fundamental restructuring. Some topical issues to be addressed. We're going to have 2 CEO business cases in the course of the summit: radically transforming your business, building Pan-African multinational company. Most Ghanaian companies do not go outside the borders of Ghana. How do we change that? We are privileged to have the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, with us. He is going to constitute a presidential panel himself to tell us government policies on economic development, social inclusion, and technology. The technology panel, Futuristic, has led us this morning, and we are aware of the confluence of technologies and how they are impacting our lives every day. Pivotal to today's issues are discussions on doing business in Ghana and the practicality of the economy and how it impacts on that. But special to it is that today we are starting the roadmap for making impact. What are we saying? This discussion is towards a solution-oriented framework, and we mean business. We'll have the boardroom here tomorrow that will speak on ethics and corporate governance, how corporate governance can ensure that high ethical standards are met to restore trust. This year, we are happy to have SAP. We are aware SAP is one of the biggest enterprise companies in Europe, and the African partners are with us today. And they are going to move us from thinking to doing. Ghanaian businesses that have implemented these enterprise resources and how they've been able to change the fortunes of their companies. And indeed, how some government agencies elsewhere have been able to use some of these enterprise resources to do that. So we are going to have Innovation Day tomorrow, right from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. It's a special day for CEOs in Ghana. We also are celebrating award winners. CEOs who have performed well will be acknowledged and celebrated. It is not all about bad news all the time. Some are doing well and they have stories to share. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme, futuristic economy, technology-driven future of business and governance for economic transformation. Without saying much, I'll say a line, that the current pace of change, whilst fast, is likely to be slower than the pace of change in future. That is all about the theme. Last year at this summit, our Doing Business in Ghana panel discussion noted an improvement in the ranking of Ghana from 111 in 2016 to 108 in 2017 in the Global Ease of Doing Business Index. Now, our lenses picked a dip in the 2018 report, placing Ghana at the 120th position, the worst since the establishment of the ranking. The reasons, I'm sure, the Doing Business panel will dissect that. But it is good also to know that in the recent years, there has been increasing focus by the Ghanaian government and its agencies tasked with improving growth, bringing in investments, and facilitating trade on using international ease of doing business benchmarks as clear targets for improvements. But it is also worth considering in some details Ghana's achievements and comparative strengths and weaknesses to chart areas of promise and untapped potential. In the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index, Ghana ranked 114th out of 190 countries in 2019, remaining in the same spot as in 2018. And while the nation's score of 52.99 really up 2.06 points in 2018, though it's above the sub-Saharan African average and ahead of the neighboring states such as Cote d'Ivoire and Mali, for example, there's a room for improvement in some areas. Ghana scores relatively well in the fields such as obtaining credits, securing electricity, and protecting minority investors, but lags behind other markets in terms of trading across borders. resolving insolvency, and registering property. Ghana improved its score on 8 of the 11 categories assessed by the World Bank between 2018 and 2019. And while the country ranks higher than the sub-Saharan African average on all but one category, namely resolving insolvency, Ghana still scores behind other African countries such as Kenya, which scored 61st globally. This, as the CEO network, we are concerned. And a closer look at the related parameters indicated declines as well. If you look at the corruption index, perception index, corruption ranking, competitiveness ranks, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, the expected growth of Ghana will not materialize if the private sector is not enabled to drive that growth. We have long established that this economy can experience exponential growth if the right policies and enabling environments are provided for the private sector to thrive, of course, under the right laws and management. So, which enduring policies that can match those of international trade markets are in place to ensure that there are consistent improvements in Ghana's position on these rankings? And no matter how much innovation the private sector churns out, if there is no confidence in business processing and the perception of corruption, investment is and will be stunted. Experiences shared in and out of these summits for the last 3 years, the evidence of investors sparking out of Ghana due to the hitches in services in the public sector domain are evident that more work is required to move us from being an appealing market to actually living it. And to move beyond the talk and give the letter spirit to thrive, we must ensure that the widening gap between the private sector and the public sector leadership is closed. For as the circle goes 8 years out, 8 years in, the CEOs, owners of businesses still remain as the people who employ the majority of Ghanaians. So what do we say? We as the CEO network have started mobilizing ourselves, and we are coming to government that take us as your business advisory council. For we are the citizenry, and Ghana belongs to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, we therefore count on all of you present to contribute in your unique capacities to have reason to meet here again for the 5th Ghana CEO Summit in 2020. I take the opportunity to thank you all, members of the CEO Network, and all of you for making the time to be here. On these notes, and with all hope, I would like to welcome you all to the 4th Ghana CEO Summit. We look forward to an amazing 2-day summit. Enjoy. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ernest de Graaf's Ejiri.
Am I going to?
Oh, please, a round of applause for the CEO of the CEOs Network Ghana, the convener of the Ghana CEO Summit. We appreciate you, and we're in awe of your courage and your determination to see these summits through all these years. This morning, or this afternoon, I beg your pardon, all is set for us to receive the gift of the occasion, the Vice President of the Republic. In time-held tradition of this summit, it's my pleasure to invite to receive him the moderator for the next session, Mr. Ernest Kofi Abochi, a former Dean of the Gimpa Law School and a Managing Partner, Axis Legal. Please welcome him warmly as he takes his place here. And with our moderator in place to receive the gift of the occasion, ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we welcome formally the Vice President of the Republic, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, to deliver the final keynote address.
Thank you very much. Ministers of State, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Chief Executive Officers, invited guests, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is really an honor to be here with you today on this very, very important topic about the futuristic economy. I also bring you greetings from His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He called me yesterday and said, I hear you are talking to the CEOs tomorrow. And I said, yes, sir. And he said, I have a message which he was going to send me to include in the speech, which he has sent me. So at the end of the speech, I'll be giving you a message directly from the President to the gathering. This meeting is particularly important against the backdrop of events of the past 15 months, in which banks in Ghana have faced some of the most challenging moments of recapitalization and reforms. The theme for the meeting and the subjects to be considered present more than a glimmer of hope against the challenges of corporate governance ahead. The theme for this year's summit, the futuristic economy, the roadmap for technology-driven future of business and government for economic transformation, is very apt. I took a quick glance at the website announcing the conference, and I couldn't help but to notice the sub-themes and topics that are very rich and varied and raise expectations about the outcomes of this conference. As a politician, I am particularly interested in the topic of economic development leadership, social inclusion, and technology. The topic cybersecurity solutions, family business, and succession agenda, and Ghana's banking economy are all in the right direction. Mr. Chairman, the theme and the topics of the conference provide us a veritable opportunity to take stock and to position ourselves for what is ahead. Our ability to deal with what is ahead of us, among other factors, depends on our preparedness to deal with change and with the risks and uncertainties as we look down our general path of economic growth. Some of us may be competitors, but this forum provides a rich platform designed to share ideas on our collective uncertain future, emerging trends, and the need for a strategic repositioning of our industries and economy to meet the quirks of modern global economies. Collectively, you are the industry thought leaders. You are the risk takers and innovators. You understand the need to innovate, the need to introduce new and improved technologies to improve productivity, the need to remain competitive and sustain growth over time in both exports and in deepening domestic markets across the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference theme and sub-themes for discussion challenge us to reflect on the role of technology in business, governance, and economic transformation. Let us take them in turn. First, industry. For many of you, the role that technology plays in shaping the fortunes of business and economic transformation needs no explanation, because your competitiveness, your profitability, and survival are at stake. The next generation of business leaders and CEOs must worry about disruptive technologies and the impact on demand-driven consumer products, be it retail, healthcare, education, energy, food, and so on. Technology is both a driver and the very essence of today's business. As a driver, technology provides the vehicle for modern businesses and continues to shape the systems and processes of businesses. Fact is that modern businesses can hardly survive without adapting to innovative systems and processes that leverage their operations against competition. Sadly, in our local economies, some of our companies have some catching up to do in mainstreaming advanced technology in their business operations. As a country, Ghana needs to invest in its education and resources into the creation of the next generation of tech businesses. From Facebook to Uber, this century provides an opportunity for the instant growth of small businesses into multi-million-dollar businesses. Businesses must tap into the two prongs of technology as the vehicle for growth and as business enterprises in themselves. Government is committed to driving growth and innovation in the tech sector, and starting with education, we are in the process of revising the curricula to reflect global trends. For households and emerging middle class, technology is about convenience, efficiency, speed, and cost. Consumers are embracing the web as much more than a purveyor of convenience. They are using it to improve their well-being, intellect, and earning ability. For government, the role of technology and governance is not so obvious, but simply put, it is also about good governance, efficiency, improved access, and efficient delivery of public services. It entails government public institutions using ICT to enhance their ways and means of linking with the general public in ways to reduce costs, improve performance, increase the ease of doing business, and the speed of delivery and effectiveness. It is about how government organizes itself, its administration, rules and regulations, and frameworks to coordinate and perform public administration. For many post-colonial societies, such as Ghana, technological innovations and digitization are just what is needed to leapfrog years of public administration reforms that have almost become never-ending business. In some cases, even more bureaucratic, more red tape, more opaque, and impediments to doing business. Much of the public sector administration, which we inherited, was actually set up as an instrument of governance of the people by the ruling class. It is a rigid public sector, unbending, centralized, and in many ways slow in responding to public needs. It was an administrative structure that can hardly be trusted as a system to facilitate and accelerate private sector-led development without risking entrenched rent-seeking practices. It is precisely for these reasons that many of these countries, including ours, rank low in the ease of doing business assessments. That is a major reason why there is a great deal of cynicism when we talk about generations of public sector reforms. And this is where the technology can play a very, very important role in getting us to improve the efficiency of the public sector. But doing so isn't very easy. You are dealing with a mindset in many places that is not really very conducive to change. The mindset wants to maintain the status quo. There is also what we call the impossibility mindset, that you want to do something, it says it's not possible, even before you try it. this aversion to new ways of doing things, to new technology. There are also vested interests in maintaining the status quo. In fact, sometimes bringing about a very simple reform, and you would see the pushback, and it's almost as though you are fighting demons and principalities. It's very serious. And I think Estelle mentioned earlier about why change in Ghana is very controversial. Because a lot of the change means disruptive change. And you are disrupting the way people are shopping. And that brings back a lot of controversy. I remember when we tried to do the paperless ports. I mean, within the first 2 days, there was a demonstration that the thing is not working, it's collapsing. I said, how? You haven't even experienced it yet. But it was already organized. But we are, of course, stuck to it. But there are a lot of vested interests when you're trying to bring about change. Digital technologies are crucial as strategic drivers to create open, participatory, and trustworthy public sectors, to improve social inclusiveness and government accountability, and to bring together government and non-government actors to develop innovative approaches to national development and long-term sustainable growth. Sometimes people wonder why we focus so much on the digitization agenda and the use of technology. But a World Bank study has shown that every 10% increase in broadband penetration boosts GDP by an average of 1.3%. And every 10% increase in mobile teledensity results in a 0.7% increase in the GDP of a nation. And this means digital governance, which will need these tools to be successful. And that is crucial to economic transformation. So here are a list of initiatives that we've been implementing since we came into office. Of course, we are issuing the national ID card with the objective of providing unique identification numbers for all residents in Ghana. And this is critical for governance and progress of any country. No modern economy can function the way we want without such unique identification. Of course, the registration and issuance of the cards has started and should be completed within a year. We want to use this as essentially the basis, as the Ebenezer Asante was saying, because we need to build an integrated database to link all the databases in the country so that your national ID, your driver's license, your passport, your taxes matters, your court, police records, insurance, we're building one big database, integrated database. And the national ID becomes very key for putting that database together. We're putting in pieces of the puzzle, but we are going to get there. And this is why the national ID is such a fundamental step. For example, once we issue the national ID, you will no longer need to go and apply for a passport. You just give your national ID number and a passport will be printed for you because all the data is already collected. There will be no need to issue any NHIS cards anymore because you already have all of that on your national ID and all of that. So we are going into a very integrated system. We've now done the digital property addressing system where every place in Ghana, regardless of where it is, has a unique address, and it's being managed by the Ghana Post Office. And it will allow us very easy location of addresses as well as delivery of goods and services across the country. We have seen that it has rejuvenated the Ghana Post Office, and it is going to help us and facilitate e-commerce. This was a major problem in Ghana. How do we find ad locations? But through the use of digital technology, we have solved it. Another major problem was a problem of financial inclusion. So many people did not have access to financial services. And so many of our people are in the informal sector. And we decided that we needed to move and do mobile money interoperability. Because a lot of people use mobile phones, a lot of people have mobile money, but the mobile money was in silos. We didn't have interoperability within the telcos, amongst the telcos, but we also wanted to move one step further to bring interoperability within the telcos, but also to have interoperability between the mobile accounts and the bank accounts and the e-switch accounts. So that was a tripartite type of mobile interoperability that hasn't been done, as far as I know, anywhere in the world, but definitely not in Africa. So we set ourselves the task of doing so, and the Bank of Ghana gives the telcos, and they did very, very well, because we were challenging them to do something that hadn't been done. And so we've been able to accomplish this mobile payments interoperability so that you can move money easily between bank accounts and mobile accounts and bank accounts. And that is what has allowed, for example, Olam to do the digitization that we saw on the cocoa, where people who don't have a regular bank account, but they have a mobile account, they can still access banking services by payments through either e-switch or the mobile account. And that is because there are 34.5 million mobile money accounts in Ghana, in a population of less than 30 million. So essentially, of course, people have more than one account. Essentially, what interoperability has done is to provide a gateway and a transactional account for the majority of the bankable population. Most people were not banked, but with mobile money, we've provided a gateway. You can move money between eSwitch with the bank account and other mobile money companies. And that gateway is also opening a route to receiving banking services through your mobile account. And this is the reason why we said that we are going to make sure everybody has a bank account. And that is exactly what we have achieved. We have achieved basic financial inclusion in Ghana. That is a major achievement. And so we are quite proud of that particular achievement. And this is what is going to allow us to deliver on so many other things. For example, we have said that, and work has started on this, that within the next 12 months, we should have zero cash in the government system. It should all be electronic payment. We will only have electronic payments. We have piloted it at the Ministry of Tourism, and revenues have increased by fourfold. And we expect all the MMDAs to be on this platform, which is being built for all, from the district assemblies. Everybody will be on it by June of 2020. We'll roll this out starting in August, and we are going to be making some good strides in that direction. So by the end of this year, we intend to really integrate all the payment channels so that we can get moving. We've also introduced digital driver's licenses, digital vehicle registration, and we have also, thanks to the AG, we are getting integration of the DVLA and the insurance companies. That process is going on now, so that when the policeman looks at your driver's license, they'll be able to tell whether you have insurance or not, or your vehicle license. So that is an integration that is taking place as we speak. But to enhance the cost of doing business, as the CEO was telling us earlier, Ghana, we need to improve our cost of ease of doing business rankings. And I think in the last 6 months, so much has taken place to really improve the ease of doing business in Ghana. We've gone online with tax payments. Now you can pay your taxes online, which will help us. And also, we have asked them to make sure you can do so with mobile money so that we can get the informal sector in there. The Attorney General, Registrar General's office has really improved the business registration process. We now have e-business registration. We've automated the application for the business operating permit, automated the construction permit system. Of course, the paperless port is in place. The renewal of NHIS is now by mobile phone. We've brought in zipline drone delivery technology to make Ghana the largest medical drone delivery space in the world. That is where we are today. Technology is transforming how businesses and their choices for the future is going on. And I think Ebenezer Asante's remarks was quite interesting because he was saying, let's have one portal, let's have a citizens portal where all government services will be on. That is being worked on again. By the June of 2020, it will be complete. But we will start rolling that out starting in August of 2019. So that by June of 2020, we will have the whole portal in place so that that interaction between government and the citizenry will be quite smooth for all. The simple truth is that talent can build good companies, but systems and structures build great companies. This is why Facebook was developed from the dormitory of 2 college students, yet the company today boasts of elaborate structures and systems that extend far beyond these 2 men. The topic, family business and succession agenda, should be of interest to all of us. Clear and hard choices need to be made, and the idea that we can run our companies without appropriate records, systems and structures, controls and meetings, and still attract investors in this modern corporate environment is not likely to be a successful proposition. Thankfully, we've passed the new companies bill into law, which provides a useful template for the growth of companies within the context of the general regulatory framework. This has been a major landmark, the new companies bill, which has been in the works for so long, and thankfully we passed it last month. Mr. Chairman, technological advancement and good corporate practices must translate into economic transformation and improvements in the lives of the ordinary Ghanaian. Companies are vehicles of economic development, and their ultimate social usefulness is to work in collaboration with government in advancing an economic agenda. When the President, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, talks about economic transformation of the country, he specifically has an eye on how the private sector or companies can lead the value-added production processes in the country. Ghana's economic transformation would involve a shift in the employment and employability of the labor force of the country, the living standards of the people, and the overall improvement in the welfare and economic fortunes of people. Technology-driven corporate development is foundational to this. The connection between technology and general economic development appears rather clear, and this needs to be harnessed and leveraged on. As you know, this government is committed to a private sector-led economy, and contemporary development practices require some support to local industries and businesses. The government recognizes the need to support local business. That is why local content is a crucial part of foreign direct investment in Ghana. Mindful of the constraints on resources of government, I can assure you that the government is committed to advancing an industrialization agenda that takes into account the need of Ghanaian industries to remain competitive and profitable. We can all attest to an improvement in the macroeconomic environment. We have achieved relative stability in all the macroeconomic indicators. and the ongoing reforms, and especially at the ports, all seek to support private sector-led growth and transformation agenda. In fact, when you look at all that we have done in the digitization space from the government point of view, we've done everything from the national ID to the digital address to the paperless ports. Everything that we've done it in collaboration with the private sector. The DVLA, the passport, everything is in collaboration with the private sector. And that is the way we can get efficiency. If we have to rely on the government bureaucracy to bring about this transformation, then we'll wait till thy kingdom come, practically. So we have to team with the private sector to get these reforms, these transformational things done. And it was a win-win situation from our point of view. Finally, let me get to the President's message. On behalf of the President of the Republic and co-chair of the UN Secretary General's eminent group of advocates for sustainable development goals, I would like to share with you an important message and a call to action with regards to the private sector and the SDGs. And this is His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana's message to you. So let me start by I'll just quote his message. Ladies and gentlemen, and our esteemed captains of industry, I take this opportunity to call your attention to our country's commitment and responsibility to support the implementation and attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. Success in achieving the SDGs is crucial to end poverty, protect our planet, and ensure prosperity for all. I am delighted that many of you have embraced the SDGs and are integrating them into your business models. Without stronger action from business, the SDGs will remain a mere aspiration. I am happy to share with you that my tenure as co-chair of the UN Secretary General's eminent group of advocates for the SDGs has been extended until 2020. To give practical expression to the central role of the private sector in achieving the goals, I have constituted a core group of CEOs as an advisory body on business and the SDGs. The group has crafted an excellent framework to coordinate corporate social responsibility and sustainability activities by your respective companies into a collective force for good. This initiative will take an expanded role, and I am calling on you to contribute to its development and successful implementation. As a first step, there is a commitment to establish an SDG delivery fund, which will support transformational actions and human development at community levels, including the sinking of boreholes, establishment of reading centers for deprived communities, teacher training programs, ready for work programs for the youth, and scaling up innovation actions through multi-purpose innovation centers. This fund could be a game changer in our efforts to achieve SDGs, but we cannot fully operationalize this fund without your expertise and resources. I call on you to embrace and support the SDGs Delivery Fund. Let's work together and leverage the SDGs Delivery Fund to bring prosperity and dignity to the millions of our people. End quote. So thank you, and that was a message from the President. I wish you all well in your deliberations over the next 2 days, and I am confident that you will reflect on the theme of this meeting and arrive at concrete positions that will accelerate the economic transformation agenda of Ghana and the continent. Thank you very much for your attention. God bless you. God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the Republic, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. Ladies and gentlemen, you may please be seated. And now, Mr. Vice President, in time-held tradition of this great house, we invite you back for a 15-minute high-powered conversation on the theme we're reflecting on. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the Republic, a round of applause.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Vice President, and my apology for getting you to return after you've... Please, shall we clap for the Vice President again? So this session is just an interactive session, a very short interactive session, to give an opportunity to our CEOs to hear from you off the script about a few things that you are doing. Just this morning, I read somewhere that government is about to revise the ICT policy of Ghana. And I'm wondering whether this is designed to be in sync with the futuristic economy that we're speaking about.
Well, I think that if you look at, is it coming? The ICT sector is a very dynamic sector. And so it's really a sector that you always have to keep your mind on, because things are changing. You have to adapt quickly. And so, and this is why we, in fact, last week we had this digital roadmap conference to look at where we want to go. And I think that policies by their ICT in particular is by nature very dynamic, and we should make sure that we continue revising, because what works today, I'm sure by next year we will have new ways of looking at things. And so we should be ready to continuously revise our policies whilst keeping a very strategic direction.
Is there any effort on the part of government to influence the private sector, for example, to improve on their investment in, say, infrastructure? The cost of data has been said to be a major problem in Ghana. And as we try to ensure inclusivity in things like technology, what is your take on
I think that I mean, data is very key. And one of the barriers to the whole digitization agenda is the cost of internet, cost of broadband. It's very high relatively for our people, and we are looking at various ways to bring it down. We have been challenging Selom here from MTN and his colleagues to see how we can continuously bring down the cost of data. Government at the moment, I will share, is really looking at our schools, for example, and seeing how to provide Wi-Fi for free in our schools. And that is, I think, going to help us in the digitization process. But it is something that we are working on right now.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the key, or let's say the flagship policy of your government is agriculture. Planting for food is a notable policy of your government.
Yes.
To what extent do you intend to bring technology and ICT to agriculture? Over the years, we've seen teachers giving best farmers giving awards, and they give them saloon cards. How do we intend to transform the agri sector technologically?
Well, I think that, I mean, we don't have much of a choice. Technology can help us so much just with information on various things. On a mobile phone, a farmer can know how much fertilizer to apply, the soil, and all of that. So technology is already there. I mean, being used in agriculture. We need to make sure farmers get to know so many things. So I think it's one of those areas where we can get a lot of value added. Herman was talking earlier on about someone about to plant all of West Africa's tomatoes in a greenhouse and so on. So I think that there's a whole area. I mean, you have trotro tractor and so on. The private sector is already getting into delivering services using technology, and we just need to create the space for them. Government is not going to be the leader here. It's going to be the private sector,
right.
And we need to create the space for them to do it.
Right. Experience in other jurisdictions and developed markets have shown that as companies compete technologically, they try to undercut each other. So, for example, over the years, I'm sure we know the difficulties we've had in Ghana about mobile telecom companies in terms of interconnectivity, and in other jurisdictions, platforms, companies undercutting each other. As we expand and grow the economy technologically, what would you say is the necessity for, say, a competition law, for example, which we don't have? Only this morning it was announced that Google is supposed to take some of its products from Huawei platform, and I'm sure very soon there'll be a competition challenge in Europe or one of these places. In Ghana, we don't have a competition regime. What do you have to say about this?
I think that these are all things that we can look at going forward. Things happen, and then you learn, and then you'd say, well, we don't have this, or that country doesn't have this. And so I think that we've got to be open to learning and to bringing in a framework that allows everybody to a level playing field to do their work. So I'm open to it.
Very well. I think someone described you this morning as a technology vice president or something. And I think you also qualify to be called a CD vice president. So I'm wondering whether you can leave here without speaking about the CD, because we have CEOs gathered here. And this year, the CD has taken some beating back and forth, and it's improved. So the key question I'm going to ask is this. I think the immediate response we normally see from the Bank of Ghana and the governors here is quantitative easing. It's almost been the traditional response whenever the CD, we just inject massive dollars. And you are a former governor yourself and a respected economist. Moving forward, I think there's a general understanding that the quantitative easing is not a long-term solution. How do we assure this respected business gathering that the CD, and I have to add that I think the Economic Intelligence Unit or somebody like that have said by 2023, the CD will hit past 6. What response and assurances can you give this gathering?
Well, I think that in terms of macroeconomic stability, you cannot go beyond the fundamentals. Going down the road of macroeconomic stability, it has to be driven by the fundamentals. If we manage our economies right, generally we can maintain stability. Of course, you can have external influences, but long term, the macro is what will hold the economy. So if we can grow our economy, make sure that our exports are there, growing, and we're getting enough forex and so on, long term, it helps our currency. If everything that we do is importing, it hurts our currency. So there are these long-term determinants, and this is why we need to increase the productive capacity of the country, right? So the supply side needs to be brought into play so that we can increase the productive capacity. The president is very right that we cannot continue on this path of the production of primary commodities with very little value addition, whereby the industrialized, the manufactured commodities which we import, their prices go up. What we export, the primary commodities, their prices go down. And so we are always struggling to catch up, and that gap has pressures on the exchange rate. So we need to industrialize, we need to add value, and this is why we are looking at our
balance of payments,
looking at the bauxite industry, for example, building an integrated bauxite industry, bringing in an automotive industry, bringing in an iron and steel industry, doing a lot of agro-processing. In fact, a lot of the one district, one factory proposals that are being implemented are mainly in agro-processing. Over 70% of them are in. This is the sort of thing that we need to do to reduce our dependence on imports and also increase exports. That will fundamentally determine the stability of the country. But at the end of the day, you also have to manage your macro well. Your finances, your public finances, you cannot go on a spending binge. You have to stay within the tenets of fiscal discipline and monetary discipline, and that will give us stability long term. But we don't operate a fixed exchange rate regime. You will always have movement in your currency, but you want stability going forward.
Okay, so there's an assurance of stability. But again, the governor of the Bank of Ghana is here, so sorry I have to ask this question without you responding because you're not on the stage. But we can't go again without speaking of the banking crisis. And it's been one of the major experiences of our time. Yeah. And being a former governor of the Bank of Ghana yourself, and with the experience you have, what is your take on critics who say that the reform process appears to be taking too long? Not the general reform, but the phase where some banks have gone down under. There are new regimes in place. There are receivers. Some people are complaining, or there are some critics who say that I think things are a bit slow, especially as regards seeing concrete outcome. And this morning, the governor has actually mentioned some things which are assuring in terms of specifics that are going to be done. But what do you say?
Well, I would like to congratulate the central bank for an excellent job that they have done. They faced a very difficult situation, and I don't think a lot of people in this country understand how close to the brink we were. Not many people understand that we were really close to the brink, and we've been able to save the deposits of about 1.5 million people, depositors, been able to do that. And so the system was really weak and on the verge of collapse, and they've had to come in to implement a consolidation process, and so it is not going to be done in one day. It's a process, but I think they are doing a good job, and we should congratulate them.
I would like to hear this from my boss. So I think the governor should be happy to hear this from the vice president, that yes, the work has generally been appreciated.
It is.
So in terms of the reform process, I think generally it's satisfactory?
It is going well. It is going well. The bank is an independent central bank. They are doing their assessments, and they will proceed at the pace that is good for this country. Yeah.
Finally, and that's the last question, I think back to technology, people experts have suggested that the world is shifting towards moving beyond just companies to actually building smart cities. And I'm aware that there are a few initiatives in town to actually, bring smart cities to Ghana.
Yes.
This morning, I was excited to hear that technology is going to the villages, so there's penetration. Yeah. Are there facilitations, especially as government is about to reform the ICT policy? Are there conscious facilitations in place to support some of these companies who are actually coming out with these ideas?
Yeah, I think that it's very, very important. There's a real, especially in the IT industry, Ghana has real talent. And I'm always amazed at how talented our people are in this space. I mean, with some of the best people in this space. And so if the environment or the network or the ecosystem is created so that they can get a lot, and this is why I would like to see an IT city, for example, that we put together an IT city where we have all of them go and then do their thing for us. Something like that, it would be so important. But the whole idea of smart cities is something that we should really support as a government as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Vice President. We've been told that you're tired, and you've still spent your time, demonstrated a lot of energy and youthful exuberance.
That's what they tell you when they want to get me away.
But clearly we want to hear. Can you please acknowledge the Vice President for his wonderful...
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been insightful, it's been revealing, and it's been assuring the Vice President of the Republic, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and the moderator, Mr. Ernest Kofi Abochi. Please, another round of applause for them. And now, Your Excellency, Honorable Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for the next minute and a half, please lend your attention to the screen for a video on the CEO Excellence Awards. It is my pleasure now to invite to present the awards the CEO of the CEO's Network and the convener of the summit, Mr. Ernest de Graaf Ejiri, ably assisted by Mr. Moses Baden, Mr. Kofi Abochi, and Mr. Charles Labi Odum. Please receive them warmly. The first award, Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is in respect of the CEO of the Year in the airline sector for sterling leadership and corporate performance achievements. It's my pleasure to invite Mr. Yofi Grant, the CEO of the GIPC, to present this award. And the award for the CEO of the Year in the airline category, ladies and gentlemen, goes to the CEO, Delta Airlines Ghana, Mr. Paco Shum. And in his absence, can we have a representative receive it on his behalf? A volunteer? All right, thank you very much. Please, another round of applause for Paco Shum. Mr. Yofi, please stay on and do the next 7 for us, if you may. We now move to the CEO of the Year in the finance investment sector. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the CEO of the CDH Investment Holdings. Emmanuel Edu Sarkodie is the recipient, ladies and gentlemen. And this is how the rapture will occur when the roll is called up yonder. Congratulations. Let's now move to the CEO of the Year in the banking sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Cal Bank, Mr. Frank Edu Jr. Congratulations, our friend and brother. For your sterling leadership and corporate performance achievements. We move on to the CEO of the Year in the construction sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO, Meridian Port Services, Mohammed Samara. And the award will be received on his behalf. Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mohammed Samara. Now the CEO of the Year in the health insurance sector, the CEO, Acacia Health Insurance, Dr. Vincent Amo. We say congratulations all the same. Let's now move to CEO of the Year, General Insurance Sector. Ladies and gentlemen, CEO of Star Assurance, Kofi Dufour. And his look-alike receives it on his behalf. Mr. Macben Iduasamwa. Thank you, sir. Extend to him our warm delight and felicitations. Let's now move to CEO of the Year, Life Insurance Sector. Ladies and gentlemen, she's the CEO, Enterprise Life, Jacqueline Benyi. Thank you. Congratulations. The chemicals manufacturing sector and the CEO of the Year in that category is the Managing Director, Azar Chemical Industries, Ghazi Azar. Congratulations, sir. CEO of the Year, Electricals and Electronics Sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Reroy Cables, Kate Quarte Papafio, Mrs. And for you out of place at Awalis, I know my level, but not today. Congratulations, madam. We now move to the last represented by Mr. Yofi Grant. It's in respect of the television entertainment sector, CEO in that category. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of MultiChoice Ghana, Mr. Cecil Sunkwa Mills. Niyama Dagadu receives it on his behalf. We say thank you. Many thanks to you, Mr. Yofi Grant, as you take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome for the next set of presentations, Ghana's Minister of Business Development, the Honorable Dr. Ibrahim Mohammed Awal. And the first you're going to present, Honorable Minister, is in respect of the pharmaceutical sector, the CEO of the Year in that category. Ladies and gentlemen, without doubt, the CEO of NS Chemist Limited, Dr. NS Bediako Sampong. A shining example of African enterprise. We salute you, sir. We now move to the CEO of the Year in the fintech sector. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the CEO of Interpay, Sadiq Nazir. Congratulations, sir, for this recognition. Oh, you're taking on his behalf? Okay, no problem. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to the public sector, outstanding public sector leader. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe we all know who it is. It is the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest K.Y. Addison. We're in awe of your courage to see through the banking reforms, and we say congratulations. We now move to the retail sector. The CEO of the Year in that category is the CEO of the Melcom Group of Companies. Ladies and gentlemen, Ramesh Sanwani. A round of applause as he comes. Congratulations, Ramesh. We now move to the mining sector, CEO of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the CEO of Anglo Gold Ashanti, Eric Esubonting. Congratulations. The oil marketing sector, CEO of the Year, ladies and gentlemen, goes to the CEO of GOIL, Mr. Patrick Akoli. Rubber and plastics manufacturing sector, CEO of the Year, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Interplast, Haysam Fakri. This afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, we advance to the technology sector, and this is a Hall of Fame award. It goes to the CEO of the Margins Group, Mr. Moses Baden Jr. Congratulations. And I can keep that for you. We move on to the automobile sector. Ladies and gentlemen, this is also a Hall of Fame award. The CEO of Japan Motors is the recipient of that, Salem Kalmoni. Congratulations, Mr. Kalmoni. The beverage manufacturing sector, the CEO of the Year in that category, ladies and gentlemen, is the CEO of Blow Group of Companies, Manoj Lakhani, sorry, I beg your pardon. Manoj Lakhani. We move to the trade sector. And in this sector, ladies and gentlemen, is a Hall of Fame award. It goes to the CEO of Four-Wing Ghana Limited, Mr. Gassan Yared. A formidable business leader. We say congratulations to you. Petroleum and oil marketing sector, ladies and gentlemen, yet another Hall of Fame award. The founder and executive chairman, Allied Limited, Mr. Dan Kofi Okujeto. Congratulations, sir, for your outstanding performance and sterling leadership. Public Sector CEO of the Year, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of the DVLA, Mr. Kwesi Ajiman Buzia. For the breath of fresh air you bring into public service, ladies and gentlemen, let's acknowledge him with a round of applause. If you ever get your license under 30 minutes, you'll be full of appreciation for him. Please, a round of applause. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the banking sector, a Hall of Fame award is befitting of the co-founder of Fidelity Bank, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Baden. Congratulations, sir, and many thanks to you, Minister of Business Development, for doing us the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause as he takes his seat. To present the next set of awards, ladies and gentlemen, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. Dr. Addison, the first you're going to present is in respect of the offshore oil and gas sector and the CEO of the Year in that sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO, Springfield Group, Mr. Kevin Ottery. We say congratulations to him wherever he is. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the agribusiness sector CEO of the Year. He's the Senior Vice President and Country Manager, Olam Ghana Limited, Mr. Amit Agrawal. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the real estate sector, the CEO of the Year in that category is the CEO of Imperial Homes, Mr. Francis Baini. And the award will be received on his behalf. Congratulations. And now to present the final set of awards, it's my pleasure to invite the Vice President of the Republic, ably assisted by Ghana's Minister of Business Development, to proceed to present the last set of awards. A round of applause for them as they come. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we present, I beg your pardon, for the banking sector, a man who sweeps 3 awards. Ladies and gentlemen, we have him taking the CEO of the Decade, the CEO Hall of Fame, and finally, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of the Year in that regard. Would you please make welcome the CEO and Group Chairman of the Fidelity Group, Mr. Edward Effa. And his award will be received on his behalf by the Managing Director, Fidelity Bank, Mr. Julius Opuni. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a hat trick for Mr. Edward Effa. How about a resounding round of applause? And ladies and gentlemen, here live in living color, I give to you Mr. Edward Effa. Wow. It did not miss the rapture. Ladies and gentlemen, CEO of the Year, the banking sector. He takes home a Hall of Fame in that sector, and most notably, he's the CEO of the Decade. I give to you Mr. Edward Effa. And now, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the very last award, Your Excellency, the Vice President, I'm pleased to call up a man who is receiving the Leadership Excellence Award, who has come here at great cost and sacrifice to add his weight to what we're doing today. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you the Deputy Chairperson of the AU Commission, His Excellency, Ambassador Kwesi Quartey. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Ambassador Kwesi Quartey. We say thank you for coming all the way to add your weight to this event. We appreciate you. And now, Mr. Vice President, we have a surprise for you. It now falls to the Group Chairman of the Fidelity Group, Mr. Edward Effa, to do us the honors. A round of applause as he comes.
To His Excellency, hello. To His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, from the CEO Network. The Ghana CEO Network presents the special CEO Award with signatures as a sign of our appreciation of your support of the private sector on this day, May 20th, 2019. Thank you.
Thank you.